My name's Thomas Waddle. This is the Whisky Sour Hour, and we're joined by that effing guy, Jordan McCabe. How are you doing, Jordan? You all right?
Hello. Thanks for having me back on the show again, man. It's like the third time, fourth time now.
I think you and Callum Pearce are battling it out for supremacy there. So
Seniority.
I think we should just strip to the waist and fight like men. I think that's what should happen here. So
Fuck yes.
but yeah, no, just a pleasure to have you on, mate. Obviously, we spoke about kind of coming on again, and there's you have like a lot of kind of irons in the fire. So
I
it was.
know.
We normally chat about like films and stuff, and I'm sure that will come up anyway. But the fact is, you've got like you've got your YouTube, your TikToks, multiple TikTok accounts, and just kind of going for there, mate. Just what's happening. Just it was like to kind of just shoot the breeze, basically. So, what has been happening? What's been going on?
Basically, I'm one up in Jim and American Pie. Rather than having two fingers in the pie, I've got three fingers in the pie now.
Jesus Christ!
Let's start off a bang. No, I'm good, man. Yeah, I kind of need to get back to my YouTube though. I've kind of like disowned my YouTube a little bit here, just because I've been concentrating on my TikTok. And then I've opened another TikTok, That Effing Guy Eats, and it's purely just because I like eating. I'm a fat Scottish man. I like eating, and I used to do like the odd kind of like food video.
Well, that was
Yeah.
I remember that coming up because I think back in the day was it Nosh or somebody?
Nosh, yeah, I done the Nosh challenge. I mean, there is a lot of money for that actually.
That must be a good like 8-9 years ago, surely. The way
I keep getting memories on my Facebook and Snapchat. I think it was 2017, 2018. I can't actually remember, to be honest. But it keeps,
so no
it keeps
far,
up.
no far off. Yeah,
Aye.
I mean, so obviously you're doing that. Just obviously, what what's the point in transitioning like for you to TikTok from YouTube? Because like as I say, somebody who's relatively new to the game of this, doing it for just over kind of a year and a couple of months, it's like I enjoy YouTube, I enjoy Spotify, and just how that kind of proliferates through the different podcasting.
Yeah.
It's dead easy. You put it up, you've got your RSS feed. That's it. I've dabbled with TikTok. I've had a couple of viral ones, but this was long before I ever considered doing anything like this. So it's like my page looks like it's got crazy numbers, but the fact of the matter is, it was like memes that I made maybe back in like 2022 when I was bored on my break at work. So what for you is the benefits to doing that? Because like you said, you've not that you've neglected it, but you have kind of transitioned across, although it's still there. Is it something to do with the short form? Because some of your TikToks are quite long.
Yeah, it's like, well, at first, again, like you, like I used TikTok originally just to do funny videos and funny little filters and whatever was popular at that point in time. And I started it when I was working in Edinburgh with my dad at Subsea 7, my brother as well. And TikTok kind of blew up during, because obviously it was COVID. It was right at the smack bang at the beginning of COVID. And TikTok became this fucking thing for like, well, I'm not working today, so I might as well go do some funny videos on TikTok. And it literally was just doing that. I was just doing like funny videos and stuff like that. And then I neglected it because I thought, right, TikTok's shite for the young ones. I'm the YouTube guy, I'm the old dog. But then so I went back to my YouTube after taking a few years off, just mental health wise, and I just had too much going on, and I kind of lost my place with YouTube, because I thought I'm not really getting the views or likes or any kind of stuff. I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into everything I do, and I still do, and I'm not getting the attention I wanted or anything like that. So I kind of neglected that big time. Went back to YouTube, done okay. I mean, I'm not looking to be like, oh, I'm making money, blah blah blah. I'm just doing it because it's a fun hobby. But then I started doing a lot. I started doing like the rankings of movies. See the filters that you can do rankings of movies in TikTok. They were fun. I done a shitload of them, and then I started to just kind of talk about movies and kind of done what I'd done in YouTube, but in shorter videos. But then, like you said, though, there's videos on my TikTok that are like maybe nearly 10 minutes long, and I'm still getting the views. But what I found, though, is TikTok is easier to get views than it is in YouTube. YouTube, you need to search for, videos and, YouTubers, etc. Whereas TikTok, the more you post on TikTok, the more you're thrown onto the FYP, like for your page or whatever. I don't know. So I'm not down with the terms, but I found it's a lot easier to get the views and the what do you call it, the interactions with people on TikTok than it is on YouTube. But I like YouTube for posting longer videos and longer than 10 minutes anyway. But even with TikTok, I'm trying not to post that long videos, but it's difficult because when you're passionate about something, you want to talk about it, you end up losing your place. You think, oh God, I'm at 10 minutes nearly, geez, I better cut that down. But I think the longest is like 10 minutes, but the shortest could be like a minute and a half. And I've tried different formats, different formulas with TikTok, because you can have a little bit more creative wise with like the app on your phone, CapCut. You can do a lot more with that for TikTok. I think you can do it for YouTube. I just find it's easier editing and posting on TikTok than it is on YouTube. But I'm trying to get back into YouTube though as well.
So do you find like doing that, like it's maybe easier to get into? Like you said, you mentioned CapCut there. I've got it on my phone, but I find it's very much like it leads you down the garden path. You think it's going to be this all singing, all dancing, and then it hits you with
100%.
You need to pay X amount to be able to access like basic features. So is that do you pay for like a certain level for that?
No, I've not got. I don't pay for CapCut. I just have the basic editing thing that you can do with it. And there's a few things we just you throw, because what annoys me about CapCut is you'll do something in an edit, and then when you're about to export it, it then says, oh, by the way, you're using some premium filters and some premium cuts here. Do you want to pay this? I'm just like, fuck you. So then you go back and fix it again. So that's the only thing about CapCut is they don't tell you this stuff. And you sometimes miss the small thumbnails, and it's the very end. So I don't pay for it. I probably should once I become successful, Thomas. You know, then I'll start paying for your $9.99 a month CapCut. Until then, free is king.
No,
it does a job.
No, I agree with you. I think it's one of those ones, and it's like these things are all good, and then there's a wee subscription to end it, and one or two is fine. But then when you add it all together, it's like going back to, you know, like the streaming wars. You're going to end up with these ridiculous subscriptions. So no, I've used CapCut to a point, but I find that, to be honest, the editing tools that are within most of these apps are pretty decent. You know, I use Clipchamp. I'm looking at maybe getting some like. Especially because I've got a new camera, I was thinking maybe like a kind of Premiere or something like that. Have you used anything like that? Is that something you've used in your kind of past?
I've dabbled with Premiere. Is that Adobe? Is that something?
I think so.
Yeah. I've dabbled with Premiere. We actually used, I think Premiere, if I remember correctly, there's a desktop version of it, and it's essentially Final Cut Pro, but a little bit cheaper. That's the thing. Like, see, when I done TV from like college. And we had Final Cut Pro, we had all the best of the best, the stuff that the BBC was using. And when you leave college, that stuff costs, you know, I think for the full package at one point, it was like something like £1,200. But if you want to do a subscription per monthly, it's like something like £20-30. I don't know. I think it's cheaper now though, because like I think they've realised that, right? I don't know. I think it's cheaper now, but I'm just like, I'm happy with CapCut. Like, see, for my phone anyway, for editing my phone, it's because I film all my TikToks are pretty much filmed on my phone, and it's an easy platform. And I'm not a sponsor. I'm not saying I'm a sponsor and trying to push CapCut, but for what I need to do, it's an easier option. And then even when it comes to like my YouTube videos on like my shorts again are obviously just CapCut. When it comes to my actual big YouTube videos, etc., that are filmed on my computer, they're edited through iMovie, like the basic of basics, and again it does the job. And I'm like, right, cool, no worries. So yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what your question again was.
It was just about using that, and like, you know, if you dabbled with like Premiere, but you know, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if Danny Boyle can shoot, you know, 28 years later on an iPhone, there's no reason why you can't, you know,
right. I said this. Yeah, you're right. I think we spoke about this already. I think we spoke about this last year, and I done it in my review for my 28 years later. Right. I'm all for Danny Boyle, like filming on a camera phone, filming on an iPhone, all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, right. But what the guy forgets to tell us is we've seen the behind the scenes pictures of the 45 iPhones he's got on a rig that costs thousands upon thousands of pounds. You then got the multi-million-dollar like lenses and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, right, Siri says, listen guys, anyone can film a movie, film on an iPhone, but you need also 1.5 million for the rig, the lenses, you know what I mean, the hard drives, you know what I mean?
I know, well, that's probably the small print, but he's no wrong. He did shoot it on an iPhone. That's all I'm
He
saying.
did.
You're not going to take the court over
that. In between the lines, yes, he filmed on an iPhone, but when you read the full, like you said, the small print, it's like, yeah, you also need $1.5 million in the bank as well.
So obviously you've got your film account that predominantly any listeners will know you for. You obviously, like you said as well, you've got This Effing Guy Eats. How are you finding that? Like, how did you set that up? Was it just a thought like this was something you were passionate about, like you said back in the day, and you were like, I'm going to phoenix this and bring it back, or like what was the thoughts there?
Well, essentially, I'm a camera whore, Thomas. I just make things because I just think, you know what, I want to have myself online. And when it came to That Effing Guy Eats, not this Effing Guy Eats, That Effing Guy Eats. When it came to That Effing Guy Eats, it was actually Kirsty, my wife, who was just like, why are you not doing food videos anymore? You used to love doing food videos as well as doing your movie stuff. And I have got a couple of my food videos on my TikTok, my movie TikTok. But I wanted to just I didn't want to do like, I didn't want to do too much on one account. So I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll just create 2 accounts and have double the work. But it's worked out a lot better because I can separate it completely. And it was just basically, I just wanted to do food videos. And I just thought, I watched all these guys doing food videos and thinking, well, it's not difficult. I would say it's actually, see for the attention wise from people, from viewers and stuff like, and even for like the views, etc. Like, I've had a lot more views on my food channel over like 9 videos, 10 videos over the last couple of months than I have had like on my movie channel, like over a few videos. So people eating food, a fat person eating food seems to get a lot more attention and attraction than a fat guy talking about his film love. But listen, I love both. They're both my hobbies of eating different. I mean, I guess I'm not saying that eating food is a hobby. You kind of need to eat food, obviously, but it's like the old saying, like you eat to live. I live to eat. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to try it, but I've got such a backlog. I'm so bad. That's my only downfall. Is I'm a very, very lazy content creator. When I do it, it's great, but then I've also filmed so much stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I'll edit it tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes Tuesday, and Tuesday becomes Friday, and Friday becomes 4 weeks later. So that's my only issue.
Well, that's what I was going to say there. So when you say you've got a backlog, is that a backlog? Literally, you filmed it. It's just the edit and cropping it down and getting it to where you need it to be. Is that where
essentially, we are? Yeah. And then like there's two foodie videos that I filmed that I thought were spectacular. The wife filmed it and it was fantastic. It looked so good. Happy days. But my phone decided to not record any sound. So I've now got 2 videos, 2 full like 10-minute videos that I've got 0 sound that I need to now sit and like do a voiceover on CapCut. The good thing about CapCut is you can do voiceovers and that kind of stuff, and you can edit to like certain bits here, blah blah. But me having to then do a whole like think of what I'm going to say to, I would see what I was saying on the day sounded great. So he's trying to replicate that. Oh, never gonna happen.
Aye, no, I get you. That's the kind of thing I try.
You're in the moment. You're in the moment.
I try and make sure that's one thing I panic about. I can do away with, like, see if the video goes, fair enough. We do a podcast, you can listen to it. But if the audio goes, then you're like, oh, this is a big problem. And it was, when we came into this, we were talking about, like, is the camera working? Is your sound working? Is it coming out the right microphone? And one of the interviews I done, it was a couple of months back with Harry Kane about the coffee. I never set the right microphone up, so I sound terrible, even though I've got the mic in front of me. It wasn't actually set up to come out, so I was like, but listen, these things happen. It's just part and parcel. Belt and braces, isn't it? You need to check everything. So
I had that same situation with my good friend Matty Monster, and he's called Matthew Mitchell. He's a long lost Mitchell brother. So I run the joke between the 2 of us, and we do the 2 effing geeks. Another thing we're trying to get back into doing that again because we've just realised that we've kind of let that kind of go a bit. But we for 3 years now, or last year, sorry, for 3 years, we'd been working on doing like horror films like to watch around about Halloween from the 2 effing geeks. And every time we do it, either my Wi-Fi's down, his Wi-Fi's down, my mic wasn't working, his camera. There was always issues of, or scheduling. There's always issues. We could film everything fucking else, but never this video. So we also said it's haunted. It was cursed. It was the cursed videos. Obviously, the curse of the Omen. the curse of the extra supporter guys, the curse of us filming a fucking horror video. And then we finally done it last year for last October for Halloween. Fantastic. The video was so good. I'm so happy. Edited brilliantly. But what happened? My mic was off. So I've got that echoey back. I've got my MacBook echoey background mic. So he sounds fucking brilliant. I sound like I'm halfway down the street. I'm just like, oh, you're kidding me on. I was like, you know what? I'm putting it. I'm not recording it again. Bugger that. We'll just put it as it is. And it just sounds like you said, but yours as well. Just I hate that. That's so irritating as hell.
I know you have people saying, it doesn't sound that bad, but you're like, I know it can sound better, so you're awful hard on yourself. But maybe this video is cursed. Maybe that wasn't meant to happen.
It wasn't, mate. Honestly, we got it out there, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm never doing this again. Bugger that.
No, I know. As I say, it comes with like I always used to say I don't do art because I'm a perfectionist, and if I was to get like somebody's eye wrong, it wasn't in the right shape, I was like, right, I'm going to give this a buy. So there's a lot of things that, and I realised that when you record and you edit, especially when it was like audio for a bit there, I was like, I might need to like edit my vote or cut a bit. Does it sound natural? And I know that cuts there, but nobody else notices it. And I'm actually telling folk, oh, by the way, like I cut that. Did that sound okay? Oh, I never noticed. So that is like the kind of height of praise, I suppose. But yeah, so like with the likes of the food, do you find that there's certain topics or certain ways in which you're filming that have better interactions than others, or is it just the food in general kind of goes?
I think it's just the food in general. I think it's just the food videos. Like people like to see, people like watching people eating food. Like I always love watching people eating food. Like what was Danny, the Rate My Takeaway guy, who's obviously now no longer doing Rate My Takeaway because of due to legal issues, but he's now doing is it Danny Eats or something like that? So he's carrying on. He's still doing his own stuff. So me and Costa love watching him. So shout out to Danny. He's a fucking fantastic big Yorkshire guy. And so I love watching foodie videos, people eating food. So when I done it, yeah, you do get a lot more interaction because people are just like either captivated by what you're eating. Like the first video I put up was of Top Golf. Me, my mum, my dad, and Kirsty went to Top Golf in Glasgow. I'd been before with my stag do last year, or 2 years ago, sorry. But I thought I could do a video about this. So obviously food, all that kind of stuff. And it done really well, really great views and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate everyone that interacted with those videos. But yeah, I think when it comes to people eating food, you get more interaction. Thankfully, touch wood, and I'm touching every wood I can find right now, I've not had any negative comments or here's another fat guy eating food, blah, blah, blah. Thankfully, I've not had any of them because I've seen people getting like absolutely scrutinized for like eating food on video because like who wants to watch a fat guy eating food? So thankfully, everything I've had so far has been such positive. I maybe had the odd comment saying like that food looks like shit, and I'm like, that's fair enough, that's okay, but nothing has been aimed at me yet because that was the only issue I had from. That's why I went down off my YouTube for a bit because mental health issues, my anxiety, all that kind of stuff. But I was also getting nothing from viewers, and I was like I said, I was working hard on these videos and still getting nothing, or I would get negative comments on videos, and I'm like, guys, don't aim it at me. If you're not happy with like what's happening in Doctor Who, it's not me. It's it's a show, it's a movie, it's this. But I was getting like people like commenting me. What I found though is never post a link to any of your videos on Reddit because Reddit just rip you to shreds unless it's a funny meme or a picture of a woman in a bikini. Do not post on Reddit because it's just such a savage playground. So I've realized that years ago. Never post anything about like your Instagram, your TikTok, your YouTube on there unless you're like high and mighty and the best thing since sliced bread. They just rip you to shreds.
I think it's like anywhere, the communities make a big difference. I know I think I made a post on like it was like the Glasgow page, and I realise now it does say like no self-promotion and stuff, but and either you're just like there's a lot of, I don't know, what's the word, like maybe keyboard warriors perhaps would be the right term, and you're just like, guys, come on, like
I call them that,
a bit of fun, so no, I totally get that, I totally get it, but like is there can you give us an idea as to what might be coming up? I don't want to obviously spoil if you've got like a big backlog, but is there anything that might kind of get people's juices flowing, salivating, perhaps?
Well, for my food channel, I'm going to do a review of Ross Stevenson, the Eglinton, the guy who owns Eglinton. He's got his new Eglinton Street Cafe just across the road. So it's you'll know this obviously because you're beef or you were beef.
I'm doxed. I've been doxed.
Yeah, Net Carbon. See where Net Carbon was?
Yeah.
They obviously then opened that Lisa's Cafe or something like that, but he's then taken over and done the Eglinton Street Cafe, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do a wee review of his. So I started to do that. I've got the two backlog videos is the Crumbleologist.
Is that the one that's like apple crumbles? But
the crumble dude. Honest to God, I keep forgetting his name, but my God, his crumbles are they're absolute life, by the way, honestly. And he's a new thing called the banana pudding. It's a wee cake thing. He's doing a cake range now, and it's banana pudding. So you've got the comfort of Scotland, which is obviously a crumble. And I'm assuming crumbles from Scotland. I don't know. And you've got
I think it's probably no, but I think you could put like nice Scottish raspberries in it, and I mean, like you make it Scottish.
And then
mate, Cranachan could be an amazing like crumble there, mate.
That could be nice, actually.
Let me write this down. So,
but then he's got his comfort food of America, so it's banana pudding, which is honest to God, oh my! Without like spoiling, well, pretty much I loved it. So that's my video for that. So I've got that to upload. I've got a couple of other videos I've got to upload, and then from the That Effing Guy Eats, and I've got another few places I want to try. But then when it comes to, I even done a video in Frankenstein's a week after my birthday. I've still not uploaded because I'm so lazy.
So when was your birthday? Just interesting, was that?
January 26th, so like nearly 2 months ago. But when it comes to That Effing Guy, just my normal That Effing Guy channel, I've got to do my spoiler review or spoiler videos for Scream 7 because I went to see that obviously a few weeks ago. I've got so much movie news to catch up on, movie trailers to catch up on. I've started to do a trailer reaction to the new Lantern series because the trailer was out obviously the last week or something like that. I've heard a lot of mixed reactions. I've heard like people saying like we were promised this sort of true detective space story, but it's like there's like nothing really in it that says this is Green Lanterns. But I'm just like, that's a pretty good thing though. Like, so if you're watching a Green Lantern show and the trailer, or if you're watching a trailer for the Green Lantern show and they don't quite show you much about the Lanterns other than the fact that that's Hal Jordan and that's John Stewart. But it's when the show comes out, then you're like, because it's like I said, it's not Superman. When you watch a trailer for Superman, you're going to see Superman, you're going to see our boy in fucking blue. But when it comes to the Lantern series, I think they showed like a brief shot of like a costume, and then obviously Hal Jordan and John Stewart. But like, I like the sound of the trailer. So I started to do a trailer reaction to that. But yeah, the only thing really that's what I'm saying. Like, I've just got so much catching up to do. Like, I feel as if I've kind of brought nothing to the table other than I'm going to catch up on this. I'm going to catch up on that.
No, not at all. I think it was. I mean, this is probably a good thing. If anything, it might reignite the kind of the fire. Because I know when you do kind of get out of the loop, like there was a couple of weeks ago where I was just. I'll be honest, I was just totally burnt out. I was tired.
I get that.
And I was just trying to get it, and I didn't want to put it substandard. Like, I mean, I know. I'm saying I'm a perfectionist, like I'm amateur when it comes to this, but I have my standards and I don't want them to dip. So I wanted to make sure, I could sit and do like a half an hour episode where I'm just sitting chatting, but I was really enjoying the interviews and I was going to wait for them to come along. So I wanted to just make sure that they were correct, and then getting these last couple of weeks, it's been good to just kind of get the refresh in, and I thought, getting you on, get chatting, get the kind of creative juices flowing, and
exactly,
you never know, you might sit down and edit a few of these.
Well,
Well,
that's I was actually I started to edit a couple of videos before I came on to this, and I kind of cleared my schedule for later on to next. I thought once I've done this, I want to get back in and be like, right, I better edit this, I better record this, I better do that. So I've got to do like for my movie Instagram. So I've not only got fucking 2 TikToks on YouTube, I've got a movie Instagram as well. I've got a post for tomorrow that I've got to edit in Canva later on. So obviously tomorrow's Friday 13th, the second Friday 13th of this year. And I missed the boat had sailed in the first one in February there. So I've got a post to do in all the Friday 13 films, like ranking all of them. So I've got to do that tonight. So I've got to burn the midnight oil for that one. Because with Instagram, I've managed to be part of a really good, loyal, supportive horror community, the Keepy Cult. And it's great over there. That's the thing, like, The only thing about falling into a community like that, they're amazing, they're so supportive, and it's fantastic. But I keep having to remind them and remind myself, I'm not like just horror. Like, I do obviously, talk about other films, but I guess with horror though, it's so much easier to talk about, and it's the horror films are so easy to watch and review and do that and do this, because they're always like, very rarely are they over 2 hours. So they're very quick and easy to do, quick and easy to review, blah, blah, blah. So I've got a massive, massive following from my little horror community over there, which is fantastic. I really, really shout out to them. I really, really appreciate everything they've done for me support-wise, and, Nerdy Up North and all that kind of stuff. Like, just like, I've started to do like little typed up reviews for Paul at Nerdy Up North, his website. So yeah, I've probably got more than just 3 fingers in the pie. I've probably got several fingers in the pie, but it's
punching
good. Yeah, I'm definitely punching the pie now. Basically, the pie is what it looked like after Jim was, playing with it.
Well, you mentioned there, obviously you're doing written reviews. How is that coming about? Because I know me personally, I would be bricking it because grammar is not a friend for me. So how are you finding it?
Really good, honestly. See, I always used to I used to struggle with doing video reviews, because I thought with written reviews, so like my Letterboxd account, or my little reviews on my Instagram, my movie Instagram, the good thing about it is you can go back and constantly change this, edit that, edit that, edit that. But once you post a review, that's it. Your fate is sealed, essentially. You've sent it to the exam board, and that's it. Like, you ain't going to get a, oh, you could do it again. You can if you want to, but then I'm just like, oh, it's too much effort. So I just leave it, let it go. So I don't really do video reviews. I do more written reviews, because you can just go back and edit them. But when it's now posting on Nerdy Up North's website, they need to be perfect. I need to make sure they're absolutely perfection. Like, the grammar's all like perfect. So what I do now is my good wife Kirsty, she's my unofficial script editor. So I'll send it to her, because I've seen a lot of people saying, like, they throw it onto Chat GPT or Google AI and let it fix things and add in better explosive words and grammar and that kind of stuff. I just ask Kirsty, because she's better at all this than I am. So she goes over it.
Proofreading is a big commodity for the wives these days.
Yeah, so she likes doing that. She'll add a little bit of spice to whatever my post is, and it makes it sound better. I've then sort of learned myself as well, because I've then kind of looked at the way she words things. I think that sounds pretty cool. So I've then kind of learned myself, adapted myself. I was always good at English in school, but I think when it comes to written reviews and trying to do like proper like big posts, I used to, when I done my reviews on Letterboxd, it used to just be the way I spoke. So I just basically typed up how I sounded, how I spoke. But I think when it comes to doing proper reviews, you kind of need to rein that back a little bit and have it sound more professional, like you said, about the grammar and pronunciation and all that kind of stuff. And rather than just saying, because it's kind of conflicted. It's a kind of catch-22. I want to just sound myself and just be me. Like, that was fucking awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, but I kind of want to sound professional as I can. Like I said, it's a catch-22. You kind of want to be you, but you kind of want to also sound good when people reading this. You think that's a very good review, blah, blah, blah. But I still, even when I'm just being me, I'll still send over to the missus and be like, right, Kirsty, fix that, make that sound better, please. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's that. The cat's at the bag though. So everyone who's reading my post, it's 97%. No,
edited by the wife.
It's 97% edited by me, and then she gets a couple of percentage of just adding her words in and stuff like that.
And you're modest too, clearly. So
no, I would rather tell the truth though, because I keep thinking like, I do kind of like a truth post and be like, by the way, guys, what you've been reading isn't 100% me, but it's more the fact that I'm trying to make myself sound better than what I can be. So to get to that standards, I let the wife be the ghostwriter, and she can kind of like, right, don't say that, make that sound better.
No, yeah. Good. So obviously, like, you've got like Scream coming up in that. Do you find, and this is just me, like, see, sometimes if you're not like hot out the gates with something, do you find it getting traction with that? It's difficult.
Oh, 100%. Like, so I went to see Scream on the opening night, and I held back on doing my spoiler-free review purely because the horror community that I'm part of, not a lot of them are able to see it on the opening night or the opening weekend, so I kind of held back for them essentially. And I did my post, but my post done better on Instagram. Like I'm actually just my typed up post done better on Instagram than I did on TikTok. So I then put up the just because you can now, I didn't realize that you can now do like proper written reviews in the caption. So I done that with a poster, and it's only had like 130 views. But I'm just like, it is what it is. So I kind of the boat kind of sailed, even though it was only a week. The boat kind of sailed, but it is what it is. So, but no, I get what you're saying. No, like I think when a film is hot off the press, if you want to be hot off the press with your reviews, you get them out either the first night or the first weekend. And I think I kind of lost that. I'm really annoyed. I'm especially annoyed with myself on this one though, because Scream 7 was a big thing. And as much as I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, but I still think I wish I'd got out there faster with my spoiler-free review. And now when it comes to the spoilerish chat, everyone and their dog and their mother has done it already. But I'm just like, I still want to just throw them out anyway because they're still a big thing, and obviously, like what the future is, like what's going to happen with Scream 8? Is there going to be a Scream 8? I know Kevin Williamson, who obviously the long time writer of the Scream franchise, has done an attempt at directing the one there, Scream 7. He directed Scream 7, his first time directing it, a Scream film, and he like the newest part of potential Scream 8 is he's not wanting to direct it. So I kind of need to do a backlog of spoiler videos for Scream 7, but also then jump on and be like, oh, by the way, but Kevin Williamson in the future Scream 8, etc., in the Scream franchise in total. So no, I get what you're saying. No, like I think when the iron is hot, do your reviews. If you want to do reviews on films, get it done the second that you've seen the film, or even at least the first weekend. Because I feel as if you leave it even a week, you're pretty much shoved onto the back burner. You're just like your stuff ain't going to get anywhere unless you're absolutely shit hot and people are desperate to see you review a film. Then yeah, fair enough. You could be a couple of weeks and all that kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of people that I follow who are now just reviewing the Scream films, and their content's getting hell of a lot more views than what I did. So I'm not quite there yet for people sitting and waiting for me. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people who there's YouTubers that I've watched for years who have maybe like left the platform for a year or so, but the minute they're back, it's like 40,000 views. When I done that, I'm back to square one again. I'm back to like 40 views, 200 views even. I don't get the big massive like, oh, Jordan's back, that Effing Guy's back. 40,000 views. So I think you kind of need to be, when it comes to movie reviews, etc., and movie news, you can sometimes be a little bit late on it. It's okay because it's your opinion, so people want to hear your opinion, hear your thoughts. But I don't see even when I'm talking about movie news though. I think I've spoken this before though, and coincidentally, John McCabe obviously he's leaving STV this week. I think tomorrow night, Friday night's his last. Friday 13th his last news report. I think like I try and not report movie news. I can't. I used to do it though. I used to sound like I'm trying to be fucking John McKay reporting the movie news, whereas I started to realize, yeah, I'm that effing guy, and this is the news. So I try to kind of make it more like my thoughts, my opinions. So like this is the news. Here's my thoughts and opinions, rather than just sound like you're fucking an anchorman reading off a teleprompter. So, but yeah, I'm boring myself now. Basically, yeah, don't keep reviews on the back burner. Do them when they're hot, and do some movie news when they're hot as well, because you get more, attraction and stuff like that.
No, I agree with you. I think thankfully it's all the time. It's like, unless it's like last year it was like Superman and stuff. Even then it was like a week after it. I was finding you were still getting a bit of traction because it was a big movie, but it never exploded or anything. And I was like that kind of. And I was that way where I was like, maybe the reviewing isn't for me, because sometimes I like to digest something. I don't want to be doing these hot takes or anything. I want to try and it might grow in me when you watch it. And I found actually, funnily enough, last week when Callum was on, we were just chatting, and Xbox announces their new console, and because we spoke about that, and I highlighted it. It was I noticed a bump in numbers, and I'm like, that's just purely just because coincidentally we were talking about it at the same time. So as sometimes, like you're saying, it's strike with iron sword, but I think luck can play a big part in it as well. You know, maybe you come up with a take that not many people have came up with, or you say something and something just catches. It's weird. You can't forecast these things.
Yeah, well, like for example, my Doctor Who videos, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on TikTok, they seem to do really, really well because there's a lot of them that I'll talk about the stupid rumors from your dog, sister's, mother's babysitter on Reddit, and they're just fun. And sometimes, I mean, like, well, if you watched Should to Get with second season, a lot of the rumors and leaks were actually pretty fucking spot on, which was really disappointing actually, because I thought, oh, I kind of knew this was coming. But when it comes to those kind of videos, they do really well because people like to hear all the shit that what's going on Reddit these days. Who's come out from the BBC and be like, oh, I don't work for BBC, my flatmate does, but don't tell anyone. You know what I mean? But exactly. But when it comes to like some of my Doctor Who theories for like what could be happening, because like, the biggest story was obviously Paul McGann, so the Eighth Doctor, he was supposedly seen filming this and filming that, and it's been turned out as some of the pictures are AI. But then you look at the fact that this year's the 30th anniversary of his TV film, so they're doing a big, massive re-release in Steelbook and 4K, all that kind of stuff. So one of my theory videos was like, well, what if he's filming something for that, something for a kind of special feature, or you know, maybe something for BBC for iPlayer. And that video done really well because obviously people are then thinking, oh, that's interesting. Nobody spoke about that before. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like sometimes if you do like your own kind of theory videos, your own kind of like exposés on things, they do better because obviously it's your opinion, it's your theory, it's what you think's going on with whatever. And you know, I like all that kind of stuff. But as I'm trying to do more kind of like, you know, big kind of feature videos, whether it be on TikTok or YouTube, because I like that, like you know, like something stupid is like ranking the American Pie films on video. I've done that a few weeks ago, I filmed that a few weeks ago, and I've still edit that again. But like something like that though.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there. So are you talking about mainline American Pie films? Or are you talking about even all the wee spin-offs and that?
The video that I done was the mainline ones. But I am going to do.
That's all that matters.
No, that's all that matters though. Because
nobody watched The Naked Mile. It was terrible.
Oh, the Naked Mile was that, and the Book of Love are definitely the worst of the spin-offs. Bandcamp, the first one with Stifler's little brother, I actually think I think it's pretty good actually. I think it's alright actually. And then Beta House, which was obviously the follow-up to Naked Mile. I kind of liked that. I thought it felt very much like a kind of new Animal House. I kind of liked that. I thought it was quite cool. And then even like the latest thing, the latest one was Girls Rules. And it was a gender swap spin on the American Pie franchise. So you had like Stephanie Stifler. So you had a female Stifler who was like the thing about the American Pie spin-offs is it's always Stifler's, you know, 40th cousin. So there's this new one where it's like Stephanie Stifler, but she's played by what's the girl? She's actually a really good actress. She's in. It'll come back to me. Oh, she's in the Boys spin-off, the one about the Gen V.
No, Gen V, yeah.
She's in that. She's the one that can. She's essentially Ant-Man in reverse. She can become big. She can do what Ant-Man does: go big, go small, kind of stuff. Like she's great in that. But she was actually really good as Stephanie Stifler. She had that obnoxiousness that Sean William Scott had, only in female version. So that was actually, I didn't mind that actually. That's pretty good. But yeah, I get what you're saying. No, the spin-offs are nothing compared to obviously, you know, American Pie 2 and 1, 2 and The Wedding and The Reunion. I'm still holding off for American Pie 5. I think it's time. I think there could be.
See if I was going to do it, you know what I would do? I would do American Pie, The Funeral, or American Funeral.
Well, that's the rumours, because again, that's another thing as well. The videos seem to have kind of picked up a little bit when I've done things like that, because like there was rumours. You know, these Spanish posts on Facebook that if you need to translate it into, you know, and it's like breaking, Charlie Sheen's playing Stifler's dad, and it's going to be called American Funeral or American Pie the Funeral or whatever, and it's Janine Stifler's mum, she's dead, and Charlie Sheen is Stifler's dad, is, you know, bum dad that comes back from, you know, under the woodworks and throws a massive, you know, party, and, you know, for the memory of Janine Stifler and that kind of stuff. There was one where it was like Chris Evans is in like Captain fucking America is Stifler's brother or cousin, like his other brother, or his dad went shagging and had another son, and then to be fair though, Chris Evans could be interesting. So seeing Captain America being a stifler could be funny. But I think the plot of how it is that you're just like, right, it's just a load of shit. But I spoke about them though, and they've done pretty well because obviously it's not exactly a rumor that's out there. I think Sean William Scott mentioned it though. He's the first one to actually mention about, yeah, I heard about this American funeral about like Suffer's mum dying and all kind of stuff. He's like, who wants to watch that though? Like, because Jennifer Coolidge is at like the absolute height of her career. Like, she's had a fantastic resurgence. So why would you want to kill her off? But I'm like, it would make sense. So, but yeah, so he's the only one that's actually kind of spoke about it, like this rumor that he's seen swirling about the internet. And then Jason Biggs said like he would be happy. There's always chat about American Pie 5. I think it would work. I really do. I genuinely think it would work now because I think there's so much nostalgia. Like the Mummy's coming back. We're getting the Mummy 4. Like that's fantastic.
Well,
I'm so for
it's
that.
a Mummy 3 because
I know because I've now
they've
now said that they're retconning that. I'm like, a bit shit for Mummy 3, but I'm just like, is a lot of shit anyway, so I'm happy with that.
What was it? Was that the Dragon Emperor?
The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Jet Li was the Dragon Emperor. Like Jet Li was solid. Like the whole thing. Like the fact that I like the idea of them going away from Imhotep. It's like, how many more times can Imhotep return? I get that, so I'm like, I'm all for that. But it was just so lackluster because the son's now older. They're essentially making him like the next generation. I'm just like, no, let's not do. Don't do that. To be fair, here's a hot take, by the way. So I love The Mummy Returns. I think it's a solid fucking sequel. I just can't be. I know I'm a dad myself, right? So I'm not going to, but I just think like bringing a kid into the franchise so early was just such a bummer. I'm just like, why did they bring in? It's like, and I love T2 is one of the greatest movies of all time, right? Judgment Day, greatest films of all time. But the more you watch Edward Furlong as John Connor, you think he's actually the worst thing about the film. It's just a bit annoying at times. See, if it was just Arnie, and now I'm saying like, obviously it's T2 is still one of the greatest films of all time, still a solid 5-star film, but I think young John Connor gets a bit annoying at times.
So we'll turn that on its head then. What is a good performance of a child in a movie that doesn't detract?
Oh, I mean, like I said, like Edward Furlong was still great, but I just felt as if it's something's a bit too annoying when you rewatch it. What's a good child performance? God, you've put me on the spot now.
I would say a really recent one, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I thought the wee Dexter Ansel, Ansel was amazing.
I've not watched the latest Game of Thrones yet. I've not watched it. I've heard a lot of good things, but I've heard a lot of kind of like, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not great.
Because it's small scale, but it's incredible. It's the best. It's the best writing for a while.
Do you know, kid-wise, something? If you want to talk about something recent, the new Wuthering Heights with Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, the two kids versions of them were so good. By the way, I don't even know who they were, but the younger versions of Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi's characters were so good. I'm just like, these kids are actually really, really good, and they got quite a bit of screen time at the start. They were great.
I'm going to throw one out there because it annoys me that they get recast. But the Ant-Man 1 and 2, the girl that played his daughter, I thought she was very endearing.
Cassie Lang.
She was very endearing.
She was great. She was really, really good, actually. Do you know what? I think the best... Sorry, I've just popped here. Sorry, apologies, listeners. The best kid cast in a film that was captivating, because obviously it was 90. It was like 100% them. Was the cast of It, the first It film, like the cast in that, they can, like Finn Wolfhard. I can't remember all the kids, but all the kids in that were so like. I remember watching that and leaving the cinema and being like, "Oh, that's how you reboot A Nightmare on Elm Street. You literally cast 13, 14-year-old kids." I don't know how you could do it, because I was kind of like, I don't know how you could do it because it'd be a bit savage, like massacring children. But then, if spoilers for the recent It series, Andy Muschietti is one sick son of a bitch. He
Andy Muschietti, Andy Machete.
Machete. He literally butchered. Like, I think the first episode, like, you thought was the team, the group, get absolutely sliced and diced. And I thought it was a dream. I thought, oh, it's a dream. It'll be something bullshit. Episode 2, you're just like, oh shit, it actually happened. Like, that kid gets split in half. Like, that was brutal. But yeah, I'd say definitely out of the kind of last 10 years or so, I'd say kids holding a film tremendously was the first film. But you can go back and say, like, E.T., like little Elliot he was solid. Him, the Goonies. Like, I'm not saying that kids are great in films. I just think sometimes you could watch it, like the kid in RoboCop 2, pain in I mean, yeah, he's a wee mobster, but pain in the fucking arse, right? Him, Edward Furlong, great. He is great. I'm not saying he's not great. He's definitely like, I would love to be him in a Terminator film growing up. But when you watch it now, though, I think it's the only thing that really kind of like takes the movie down a bit. Because you're just like, oh, he's just too 90s child. He's just too like, he's cocky, and it's just like, it's annoying. And this is where I'm going to get really, really, really hot take, by the way. Hot off the press. I prefer adult John Connor. I prefer Nick Stahl's John Connor. Because then you're like, he is an adult. It makes more sense in being, I know he's a bum. He's a junkie in that. He was meant to be a kind of recovering junkie in Terminator 3. But I prefer him over Edward Furlong for certain points, for certain things. Because I just think, I don't know. I've kind of threw myself in a hole now. I'm going to get fucking shot for this. But I just sometimes think when I rewatch Terminator 2 with Edward Furlong, I just sit and think, oh, it's just so annoying at times. He's just too 90s kid. You know what I mean?
I think there's no been a definitive great John Connor. Like, the reason I say that is just because you could pick good bits like Edward Furlong and the chemistry that him and Arnold Schwarzenegger have is undeniable.
Phenomenal.
Next, I'll be honest. I think I saw Rise of the Machines once, and I've not watched it since. But I don't remember being like offended by Nick Stahl.
Yeah.
I think Christian Bale could be great in any role. I just don't think that was a particularly good movie. Salvation, great ideas. But it went too real. Like, why have we got M4 assault rifles when it really should be lasers?
I think, I get what you're saying like that. Like, see, now obviously behind the scenes story, obviously Edward Furlong was to come back for Terminator 3. And he was sober. It's a shame what happened to him. Obviously, even at a young age, he sobered up and all that kind of stuff. He got the paycheck because he's told the story multiple times. He got the paycheck for Terminator 3, signed on. Everything was all hunky dory, sunshine and daisies. But then it was something like he was like, it was his early 20s or something like that. I think it was something like that anyway. And he was just on the road to recovery, and he went and blew all the money. It's some now, please, again, if anyone's listening and they're saying like that's bullshit, I don't know the exact thing. I've heard him say it at one point. Then there's like different other versions of him saying this and that and that kind of thing. I've never actually had like a definitive like one story from him. So something like that though, and he obviously let everyone down and kind of get recast, all that kind of stuff. So I know and I think if he'd come back as John Connor, I think he'd have been better than Nick Stahl at that point, because I think he'd have been a little bit older, a little bit wiser. And I think pretty much like how I feel about Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. In Psycho, he is phenomenal, a scene stealer in every scene he's in. But then when you come back to Psycho 2, which I know is obviously like 22 years later, 23 years later, I think he really became Norman Bates. Like, he properly, and obviously he was typecast, he was kind of known as Norman Bates, but I think he really, really like had the proper acting chops in Psycho 2, because he really embodied Norman Bates as an older man, and he embodied it from everything he learned from Psycho 1 to Psycho 2. So I think if Edward Furlong came back for Terminator 3, he would have embraced young John. It would have been a better transition. It would have been I think he'd have been stronger as a early 20s John Connor. And I know it's been thrown on YouTube. There's from 1997, I think it's the the
game.
3D, the 3D, the little 3D short.
The ride,
yeah. But the actual film, the actual like 10, 15-minute films on YouTube, that's where that's where I'm just like, yeah, that's John Connor. That's badass.
I think for me, I remember being a wee guy watching T2, and for me, the stoic, silent, scar-faced John Connor you get at the beginning of the movie, I was like,
yeah,
who's that guy? And the mystique is you don't get to know who that is, and that's
no.
probably what you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
You got a taster of Bale, because obviously Bale get the scratch.
I know, but
I didn't like that. It felt forced. It felt as if I had to put it through the scar.
But it just felt like a different movie, because like,
yeah.
where's the like sea of skulls that the robots are like crawling over? It just it felt like a reboot.
Yeah, well, I guess Salvation was a sort of a soft reboot to the franchise, but also a continuation from part 3. Because obviously, you get John and you get Catherine Brewster, who's obviously now Catherine Brewster's now his wife, played tremendously by Bryce Dallas Howard. She doesn't actually get enough credit for that film. She's great in that, but I also think she never got enough to do. I feel as if, like, when you see her now, you're just like, she's a great actress. She was great at that point. You should have had her more front and center. But yeah, I think what you're saying is right, though. I don't think we've ever had a definitive John Connor. Edward Furlong was phenomenal, but I think when you watch it back again and again and again, he's a little bit annoying at times because he's just a kid. And I get it though. Yeah, he's just a kid.
Streetwise kid. I get it, but
it gets it in the way sometimes of like proper
the chemistry, like I say, makes up for a lot of that. But I know what you're saying. Like
the father-son chemistry was great.
The stuff in the arcade can be a bit kind of like toe curling.
It's all its time. Yeah, I get that, and I feel as if like there's loads of films that I'm not saying Terminator 2 hasn't aged well. I just think there's certain actors and certain things that you watch and you think, you could, okay. Because like even like going back to one of my all-time favorite films of all time, Psycho. There's a couple of things in there I'm just like, a little bit hokey at times with some of the dialogues. It's very 60s. It's very 1960, or well, I think when they started the film, it was like 1959, 1960. So it was very of its time. But I'm so infatuated by Psycho that I just I forget about it. I just think, nah, it's okay. It's of its time. It's fine. And there's a lot of films like that though. And I think when it comes to Terminator 2 though, as much as it's a 5-star, absolute fucking solid classic, one of the greatest sequels of all time. Some could say it's better than the first film, which I think it is in terms of like its practicality and its effects. And Arnie obviously has got more to do, or rather than just being this sort of near enough silent killer, he's got more to do. And like you said, the chemistry of Edward Furlong, John Connor. You had to have John Connor on that to see where it started. But I think it's not aged too well in terms of there's a bit too much of it's just a kid, and you're just like, But it's what it is. Listen, I still absolutely adore it. I still think John Connor, I still think Edward Furlong's excellent in it. But I just think it could have. Don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's just a couple of things.
I think it's just of its time, and for me personally, I think James Cameron went 2 for 2 with kids actors, because I think Newton Aliens is just unreal, mate. So aye.
Well, there you go. There's another one. Yeah, she's fantastic as well. Like, and the fact that they obviously, David Fincher, when he came in to do Alien 3, he done the unthinkable. And yeah, and you know what, that he done I don't mind Alien 3. I think it's okay. But there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen though with the different scripts and different, directors and all that kind of stuff. And I think Alien 3 could have been really something special, but I think what they done was unforgivable in the opening when they killed off Hicks, they killed off Newt. Sort of like, I think that's what sealed the fate with the recent Fate, which is Dark Fate, which is the recent Terminator film directed by Tim Miller, and had James Cameron coming back producing it. I think he wrote it as well. Also had Linda Hamilton back. It was a true Terminator 3, but we were promised Edward Furlong back in some capacity. But we found out that he was only there as a John Connor consultant, because obviously, spoilers for Terminator Dark Fate, but it's been like 6 or 7 years. They killed a motion capture version of John Connor of Edward Furlong in the opening fucking sequence, and straight away you're just like, why did you fucking do that? Are you having it? Are you really? You just went and done that? Now, I don't hate Dark Fate, but I hate the fact that they done that and they switched it to And I'm not being sexist. I don't care about the fact that it's now a female, like leader of the resistance. I don't mind that at all. I do not care about that. But I just think she was so not John Connor. Like, you had John Connor on a pedestal, and then they kind of said, nah, let's just go with the current society and just have a female be the new survivor. But like I said, though, I don't mind it. I don't mind that. I just think she wasn't a great choice as a replacement. I think there's a lot stronger females that could have been better.
I'll be honest, I've not saw it. The only bits I've saw is like is there a chase on a motorway? It looked pretty cool, but
it's phenomenal. The Gabriel Luna was he was like a new version of the TX from Terminator 3. He could split and could do all this, shape shifting. Brilliant. But yeah, it was
if that's the case, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed because Tim Miller obviously done like Deadpool, but I mean, he usually has like quite strong female characters, and James Cameron is probably the best action writer for females. 100%. You know what I mean? So I'd be disappointed if they weren't good. But again, I've not sort of Terminator for me. I remember seeing Salvation. I've seen 3 once. I've seen Salvation, and I was like, I don't need to see this anymore. Like, I think I'm done, which is disappointing because they are classics. But what was the other one? What was the one with Emilia Clarke?
Genesis.
Amelia. Is that bad?
Yeah, really fucking bad. Actually, I think that's actually my worst Terminator film.
Right. Is that right?
Do you know what? The thing about Terminator Genesis though is it was it's essentially Terminator 1.5. So you have the events of the first film, and then they sort of split the timeline, and you get like a 1.5 film where there's no Terminator 2 or anything like that. It's just basically Terminator and Terminator Genesis meant to be. And Amelia, I'll give her due though. See Amelia, because the director was Alan Taylor, who directed a few of the Game of Thrones episodes and a few Sopranos and all that kind of stuff. He directed the Many Saints of New York.
The Dark World. Did he do that? He
directed that as well. Directed that, and he also directed, because he wanted to try and make a kind of Game of Thrones sort of Thor. I hate Thor Dark World, so it was a dud for me. But Alan Taylor directed the Many Saints of New York, the Sopranos spin-off, the prequel film, which actually was fucking solid, by the way. But it released during COVID, so box office wise, it done nothing. And it was on a budget of 50 million. It was like, that's so cheap. You could make that back in, a couple of days, but it didn't do well because of the COVID, so it was a shame. But yeah, so Alan Taylor cast his go-to for Sarah Connor, Emilia Clarke. And you know what? I thought she was phenomenal. I thought she was the best thing about the film. She was phenomenal. She looked like Linda Hamilton in 1984. It was like, not even with any, there was nothing. She just looks like, I thought she looks great. He then cast Jai Courtney as a younger version of Kyle Reese, or a new version of Kyle Reese. And you're just like, oh, he wasn't great. And then he cast Jason Clarke as the new John Connor, but the whole point of this John Connor is he's now being manipulated by the machines. He's now a machine himself. He's now a Terminator himself. So that's what I'm saying. Like the premise is, you think, because it's as if they say like, we've failed giving everyone a definitive John Connor. How about we make it he's a Terminator himself? So that was pretty cool. It's just, for some strange reason, Jason Clarke can't seem to get a break. Everything he's casting, he's either wooden or the film is shit. But then he'll do things and you're thinking, that is great. So it's as if his agent hates him, or he himself has got a bad choice in what he does in a film. Because in like Everest, he was in Everest. Remember Everest was phenomenal. He was great in that. He was also in that.
Well, I was going to say he's on a Planet of the Apes. I thought he was quite good in that.
Phenomenal in that, right? Okay. That's two so far. He was in
Oppenheimer.
Great in that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he needs a good director, and for some reason, he's not getting a good director.
He's on an Apple TV, and I sing Apple TV's praises, but he's on an Apple TV show, and it's pretty poor. It's about Alaska and a convict. It's basically Con Air.
I've heard about that.
A prison transport. It wasn't the best, and it wasn't his fault. I just don't think it was a particularly well written show.
He was in a series. I think it was Apple TV or Amazon Prime with Helen Mirren. It was about it was that Russian queen.
Catherine.
Is it Catherine the Great? Was she a Russian queen? Ish.
Aye.
Yeah. Something like I think there's also Elle Fanning with
Aye,
Nicholas
but
Hoult.
that's the great, isn't it?
Did they do the same thing, exactly similar thing? I don't know, but yeah, so he's
I
in.
think that's a comedy, but I
Aye,
think
so
like
him and Jason Clarke and Helen Mirren done Catherine the Great, or something about a Russian queen anyway. He was fucking phenomenal in that, and I'm like, right. So I think the guy, he needs to be given a great script and a great director, and he's fine. If he's not, then he just kind of, as if he's kind of left his own devices, and it's just not. And his clearly his agent hates him. His agent's just there just to make money, and I feel sorry for him because he's actually such a great actor. He's very underrated, but then when you try and defend him to people, everyone's like, "Yeah, but he was this, that, and that." I'm just like, "Oh yeah, good point." I was like,
no,
oh,
no,
it's
no.
annoying."
Listen, I think some people you can't all be Daniel Day-Lewis. You know what I mean? You need to take
Yeah,
the good with the bad.
yeah.
What on the horizon? Obviously, we've kind of spoke about the shows you've got on. Have you got any kind of films coming out? You're looking at the review for your, was it Geeks Up North? Nerds Up North?
No, so Nerd Up North. Well, the good thing about Paul, what I love about Paul is he's allowing anyone to come on and just throw up any reviews of any film. So it could be like I could do a review of American Pie and be like, I'm going to do a review for American Pie. It doesn't necessarily need to be new films. It could be throwback reviews, all that kind of stuff, which I absolutely appreciate. I really do love that. I don't know. I just want to do it because he just said like anything anything you think of a review, just send me it. Like if you want to do a review of Goldeneye, do a review of Goldeneye. So like I like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna pick and choose just some films and just be like, I'll just go back in my Letterboxd account and be like, what have I reviewed that actually sounds like a good review? Maybe tweak a few bits here and there, and then just send them that, send them this, send them all that kind of stuff. But film wise, see that's the thing. Like doing reviews of films that are hot off the press is sometimes difficult because obviously we can't always get to the cinema. That's the only thing about it. Also, well, one, I live in Beeve. Two, I don't drive. Three, I'm married and I have a kid and I've got a job. So I can't just go and spend a day in the cinema and watch 40 films and be like, there you go. There's some people who I'll watch who just have a day in the cinema. I'm just like, yeah, because you're not fucking got a child. Your job is you go to the cinema and watch movies. Obviously, you've got time in the hands. But there's a lot of films out this year that for some strange reason always seem to. Whenever we get to this point in the podcast, what films are you looking forward to this year? I have a category in my head. I'm just like, I'm going to talk about this, and then when it comes to in the moment when it's live, I'm just like, shit, what's coming out this year? Like I'm like, oh, what is coming out this year? Actually, I think so. Obviously, Scream 7 was the latest one. There's what's coming out next month? There's something that Kirsty saw, and she's just like, "Oh, that's coming out next month." Oh, Ready or Not 2.
Right, okay.
Ready or Not, Here We Come, or Here I Come. I don't know. I love the
Human
first one.
Hunting, I think, is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of how I looked at it. Is it's sort of battle royale. I don't know. There's so many different influences from different films, but it's the Radio Silence guys. It's the guys that obviously done the first film, then they've done the Scream 5 and Scream 6. So they've done the Abigail one, the one with the little girls, the daughter of Dracula. So they're good. But I'm just like Ready or Not 2. I'm like, don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I see. I'm just similar to you had said before we came on. I'm no like, there's no many this year. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for that. I think the more I hear about it, the more I'm quite excited for Ryan Gosling's project.
Oh, Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
I've heard that's. I mean, it's not that I go to Rotten Tomatoes as my go-to. I'd go see a film if it's 1%. But Project Hail Mary's getting crazy good reviews.
Lord and Miller, like good guys. So I think middle of the year, I need to be cautious just because I know I'm going to be busy, but I really, like, I'm DC, so Supergirl, and then at the end of the year,
Supergirl, come on, that'd be amazing.
And then just at the end of the year, I mean, there's just a wee movie called Dune Part 3 coming out.
Dune Part 3 and Avengers Doomsday.
Mate, I think the ship sailed for me in that. I'm actually like,
don't be that guy.
Well, what I'll say is, right, I don't care about it now, and less than 4 months, know that you would know there is a new Spider-Man movie supposedly coming out. There's yet to be a trailer released, so we shall see.
There's that as well. Like there's brand new day. I think brand new day. Supposedly, the latest chat online is we're getting our first trailer for brand new day and Dune 3 next week, supposedly. But I don't know. I'll hold my breath for that one because I seem to be getting a notification that we're getting a trailer for Spider-Man. Supposed to be New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We had a little little featurettes of like the behind the scenes footage that they filmed at Glasgow. And that gave us a little kind of taster of like, oh, Spider-Man 4, it's fucking brilliant. I'm excited. But yeah, I've not had a trailer. All I've seen is leaks of like, this is what this villain looks like, this is what that villain looks like. I'm just like, okay. But it's the fact that, right. It's clearly a Marvel thing because we've had 4 trailers for Avengers Doomsday. That's out and we got the first one in December, yeah, in front of Avatar 3. So I get it though. Avatar, I get it when it comes to Avengers. That's a big deal, right? There's a lot of money riding on that, right? There's a lot of faith riding on that. But when it comes to Spider-Man 4 that comes out in literally 4 months' time, it's like, but I don't know if it's because they just know that, yeah, but Spider-Man's fine, though. Like, you know that'll make $1 billion. It's okay though. But when it comes to like a big ensemble film, I don't know. I think maybe Marvel are a little bit shiting themselves when it comes to Avengers 5.
I think they're gun shy just because every like the last 5 years or 6 years there really hasn't been that hit that lit the world on fire. So
yeah,
I get
Deadpool and Wolverine was obviously the biggest. That and Guardians 3 was probably their biggest moneymaker.
But like, I get it, and I get like those were like those had a history. Those people were ready for that. I think the issue was everything, no matter they can claim that the Rotten Tomatoes was as high as it could be. Nobody cares about every new character. Like genuinely, like I don't know anybody.
I know. I get that.
Shang-Chi, like nobody cares.
I loved Shang-Chi. I thought it was a great film, but get Phase 4. I was called Phase 4. I think we're on Phase 5 now, actually. I always said that Phase 4 was the experimental phase. It was like, just let's throw up some characters so you don't really know about and see how it goes. And some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. Like Eternals, I've still not seen Eternals because I'm just like, I've heard so many kind of like, oh, and I've just not watched it yet. But everything else I've watched.
I think because a lot of the stuff doesn't matter. That's the kind of big thing. Like I know I'm like you. I've not saw it, but I know it ends with basically like a celestial. Out the ocean, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, surely that's a big thing. And
well, that's the thing. Like, I think there was a big setup for that. Cause obviously, the big celestial appears briefly in Captain America: Brand New Day. No, Brand New Day. Brave New World. I actually enjoyed Captain America 4. I loved Sam Wilson. I loved Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. That was the new Captain America, obviously, and that's where. And I spoke about this in my little video, my little breakdown of the Avengers Doomsday trailer, where it's obviously Chris Evans, Captain America will return, or Steve Rogers will return in Doomsday, and I kind of think, oh, you've kind of shat on Sam Wilson a little bit. He's in it. He's got his own Avengers team, but I'm just like, oh.
I think the issue is they basically made him Captain America, as in he's like a super soldier. The whole thing with him was he's not, and they should have leaned into that, but because he's getting flung about.
Yeah, that's what I really praised Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then obviously brand new day, Brave New World, is the fact that even his character says, "Oh, like I'm not Steve Rogers, I've not got the super serum." And Harrison Ford's, and what a bastard of a comment! No, he make his General Ross, or President Ross, the Red Hulk. Basically, it was Hulk 2. It was Incredible Hulk 2, but it was Captain America because you had not the leader. I could say the brain, the leader. But he says to Sam Wilson, like, he says like, "You're not Steve Rogers. You've not got super serum, blah blah blah." And Sam Wilson's just like, "Motherfucker, duh." But he's like, "But I'm human. I'm probably the most." And he is. I'll give him his due though. He's probably the most authentic Captain America in terms of he's just a guy with like his wits in his hands and just kind of does it. And I don't know.
I know, and I get that, right? And I totally get that. But I think I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier when it came out.
Great series.
Wait, was it? But because there
Yeah.
was bits that, no, there was bits that I liked, right? The do not try and make me sympathise with terrorists.
No, I hated that. That was shite. That was a little
That was crap.
I hated
And
that.
your man, Kurt Russell's boy,
Oh,
Wyatt,
Wyatt Russell.
he done nothing wrong. Like
I know
like
he done that. I think he was fucking brilliant.
no, and I
John
mean
Walker.
I'm talking. So his character done nothing wrong. So I straight away that got my back up. I was like, well, he's not done anything wrong here. So what's the problem? And I enjoyed it. Out with the villains and that. I thought it was pretty good. My issue comes with when you see the trailer and he's stopping a punch for the Hulk.
Yeah.
You can be like, oh, suspension of disbelief. Like, I get that. But you're telling me the Hulk can punch a hole through the planet or something, right?
Yeah.
But you're telling me a guy who, by his own admission, has not got any super serum. Surely you should bake that into the action sequences. He's like, right, I cannot get hit by this guy. And that's the whole like thing. But he's blocking. I know the shield will no break, but he will break.
I'm sure if I remember correctly, because was it last year it came out? And I've only watched it once. I think if I remember correctly, I think he took some super serum. It was like a one-off injection. I can't remember now. Actually, you're making me question that now. There was something. It was something I'm sure he took something.
But then, can't
remember actually.
So again, not so it. But if that is the case, then it undermines everything he was saying. He's like, I'm no Steve Rogers. I don't have the serum. Well, that's fine. Are you taking it or are you not taking it? Right?
Because I can't remember the ending actually.
But see if he does take it, you'd be like, ah, mate, I don't blame you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who would they take it?
True.
So it's. But I think they've missed the mark with so much, and the public opinion is just so low because they have been substandard compared to what they were. I mean, you had the outliers, even the ones that were considered not even that good, like Captain Marvel's. It's a pretty like candy floss movie. It's there and goes away, but it's fine. It does like what Marvel did at the time. I'll wait to see what happens with Spider-Man. I'm excited because it was shot in Glasgow. I can be like, oh, I've walked down that street before. It's Doomsday for me is, I think there's the talk. It's Dunesday. They're all coming out on the same day. That in June. I would move Dune, get it out there. It doesn't want that stink on it. I think it should just, do the same thing because Dune 2 is a masterpiece. Dune 1 and 2 are masterpieces in my opinion. But
I'm looking forward to Dune 3 or Dune Messiah. Is it Dune Messiah?
I think it's based on Dune Messiah, so I think it won't be called that, but I think the naming it will be Dune Part 2, and then we'll go for there.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to Dune. I'm looking forward to Dune Part 3. I'm obviously looking forward to Doomsday. Like that's just.
Listen, I probably will go and see it, right? But the fact is, my expectations are like I can't get them off like the ground. Like my rudder's broke. I can't pitch up. So I will go and see it probably, but I'm not going to rush out. Like whereas, like I remember going to see. Infinity War and Endgame. I remember it was like I remember being night shift, or I was going to be night shift for Endgame, and like I got a viewing at like 5:00, and that night shift it was just a case of just taking in as much like review content as I could. I was like, oh man, I need to get this out, and then you had a nice little well, I say nice because I don't like Tom Holland Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't like those movies. Apart from it, I quite liked is it No Way Home?
No Way Home.
I thought that one was
the collaboration.
Aye. We're in it. Obviously Tobey Maguire as well, but I just think they kind of showed him up. But I think
he's the old guy. He's meant to be kind of showing up a little bit. He's the old boy.
No. I meant like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's acting showing up Tom Holland because I think Tom Holland's pretty dire, and I think think his wee crew like Zendaya and the other boy is it Joseph Bantalone?
Ned.
I don't rate any of them.
I do love Tom Holland. I love his Peter Parker. I like the fact that he is definitely the most. He's a kind of definitive Peter Parker, but in Spider-Man because he's the youngest. Obviously, he was only 19, 20 when he got cast, so he fitted it a lot more than being 27, 28 and playing a 16, 17-year-old. But I think definitely my number one Spider-Man is definitely Tobey Maguire. Like I love Tobey Maguire. Like I grew up in those films. Like I watched Spider-Man until it broke. Like I loved that film. That film was phenomenal. That and the first X-Men were just like the best thing since sliced bread. And then obviously we get Spider-Man 2 and we get fucking X-Men 2. Oh, what a boy. And then we get two quite not dreadful, but not great, like Spider-Man 3 and then X-Men Last Stand. Like just they were kind of like lackluster. They were lackluster. But the thing is though, what's really weird though is Sam Raimi was there for all three films, but even he's disappointed with Spider-Man 3. But
I think it's just because they forced Venom into it, but
they forced so much into it. It wasn't even funny.
Funnily enough, today when we're recording this, it's what is that? 17 years.
17 years since the announcement of Spider-Man 4.
Spider-Man 4.
July something 2011 or something like that. 16.
Aye, it was
16, 15 years. 15 years.
No, it was 2009, so 17.
Jesus Christ.
But I think to say Spider-Man 3's anywhere near as bad as what X-Men 3 is crazy. It's orders of magnitude worse than what Spider-Man 3 is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I probably would say Spider-Man 3 is better because it at least has the same director.
Oh, mate, it's
yeah, I would probably agree.
Right, I'm gonna just put it out there. Spider-Man 3 isn't at the time. I remember being a wee bit disappointed going back and watching it. The stuff with Sandman is unbelievable.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my god,
that's like a short movie in itself. You know what I mean? And the music,
the visuals for that were still astonishing. That's where they knew they could fuck hard with those kind of stuff. Because the Venom stuff, Venom stuff was
Christopher Young, I think, done the score for it rather than Danny Elfman, and
I didn't even know
I'm sure it is.
It sounds exactly the exact same.
Well, that's it, and I think musical consistency. I don't think you could have changed that theme. Whereas, I mean, that's a big complaint with me in the Marvel movies. Apart from the Avengers, I don't think any character has the same theme in any movie. So it's like you don't have any kind of attachment to it. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man as well. His movies, the Tom Holland ones, those have the same theme.
Yeah.
So again, you've got that attachment to it, and there's that. Out with that, Iron Man's theme changes because Ramin Djawadi done the first. And I think
the first one was so good.
And heavy metal and stuff. So
the second one was essentially because AC/DC released a soundtrack. Obviously, it was essentially an AC/DC film. That was fucking excellent. Iron Man 3, I loved the kind of like the main score for Iron Man 3, the sort of kind of 60s espionage.
Brian Tyler, I think, done that one. He actually does. He does an amazing.
He does a lot of Marvel stuff now, actually. Yeah, he done a sort of 60s espionage, kind of like a kind of James Bond, kind of like 60s James Bond kind of score. It was fucking brilliant. Speaking of Iron Man 3, by the way, have you watched Wonder Man?
I done one episode and couldn't get into it.
Oh,
sorry, mate. Sorry, I know.
Wonder Man's probably the best MCU TV show since WandaVision. Yeah, I'd say so. Like Wonder Man was such a great sort of buddy cop comedy. Like it just was so. You had Abdul Mateen. Finally, that dude's in MCU, and and then you had Sir Ben Kingsley returning as the Mandarin, or Trevor Slattery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I hated Trevor. I hated him in what was it? He briefly appeared in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I didn't like him. And I thought to myself, they're just throwing him in for kicks. But when you see him in this, so like he actually has an arc that goes full circle. I'm just like, oh fuck it. You actually feel sorry for him. You're like, I was nearly tearing up. I was just like, Trevor, you fucking lovely man. Wonder Man was so good.
No.
But talk about music of the MCU though, I think the best score we've had in recent years is I'm going to say it, Fantastic Four, Michael Giacchino.
So, listen, that is good.
I love that music. Fuck, it's so good.
I think he has done some of the best music in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
I think his theme for Doctor Strange is unbelievable, and Danny Elfman came in and just absolutely done nothing with it.
Yeah. As much as Danny Elfman's like he was there at one point, he kind of just done some like kind of generic superhero music, some generic horror music.
He done the same thing with Joss Whedon's Justice League as well. It got rid of all the Hans Zimmer stuff, and
Right, let's not even talk about that. Let's not even
I
talk.
know,
The the Justice League.
Justice League. But
You know
yeah,
what's funny though?
no,
Like with Spider-Man 3 though. See when the Justice League came out, I was like, great fucking movie, fantastic, brilliant. And then I watched that again. I'm just like, wow, it's pretty shit, isn't it? And then when you see the Snyder cut, you're just like, oh yeah, it's definitely shit.
I just remember being so disappointed because I was the DC guy. I've always been a DC guy, and I loved Batman versus Superman, especially the unlimited. Was it director's cut or whatever?
The unlimited. Oh yeah,
Ultimate Edition. Ultimate Edition.
Batman v Superman. I don't see the hate for that film. I think it's a fucking phenomenal film.
Aye.
Right, right. I understand.
I mean, no, it was just butchered a little bit, especially
a little bit butchered. I'm going to say this right. I'm going to defend this right. Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, right, walked so that Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor could run. Because that younger man, same thing as like, seeing you look at Nicholas Holt, he's a young guy. People were shitting on Jesse Eisenberg because he was a young Lex Luthor. Fair enough, obviously he was very Heath Ledger, Joker like. But I like that sort of unhinged, schizophrenic Lex Luthor. I thought it was brilliant. But everyone was just like, he's too young. You forget that Jesse Eisenberg's like well into his 40s now. You forget he was well into his 30s when that came out. So he was like, he just I think he just reminds you of like the wee guy from Zombieland. He's just that wee boy still basically. So I think people kind of looked at that and thought, the fucking Zombieland guy, not the fact that they've realised that Mark Zuckerberg, the social network guy. I'm just like, yeah, because the guy can fucking act. I think his unhinged performance was so good, and I think it walked so that Nicholas Holt's unhinged Lex Luthor, and obviously he's fucking way up there with Gene Hackman, almost right. I loved Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor, but I think we needed Jesse Eisenberg there so we could then get Nicholas Holt, because then Nicholas Holt was cast, everyone was just like, fucking Nicholas Holt from Skins. About a boy. But again, that guy's done some fucking great acting. He was in an X-Men film. He was in the X-Men movies. Like,
he was in my opinion, the best X-Men movies. First Class and Days of Future Past. Really good.
I didn't mind. I thought Apocalypse was quite good, but I think Apocalypse could have been 2 films because he's a big villain. He's not just a one-off. He's a Thanos. He's like, you introduce him in several films and then have him being the big bad. Same with Dark Phoenix.
The soundtrack's really good. That's what I want to say.
Is that not?
And the action's good. It was Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, that was great. The only thing, and I love the music in Dark Phoenix, and I think the Dark Phoenix storyline was better-ish handled than Last Stand. Kinda, a little bit here and there. But again, it's a story that could have been like 2-3 films, but it is what it is. The music for Dark Phoenix was fantastic, but
it never had John Ottman's wee bit at the beginning.
Yeah, it never had John Ottman's little bit of music of X-Men. It never had a distinctive X-Men sound. It just had a sort of, and I'm going to say generic superhero sound, but it was done greatly by Hans Zimmer. So it was done greatly, but it never had its X-Men-y kind of, like, it's an X-Men music.
I went to a Hans Zimmer gig not long after. It must have been the first one he'd done since like COVID, or since that film came out, because it was held for so long. And I remember
it was fucking held back to hell, wasn't it?
He was like, I'm not going to do an accent, but he was like, I love this movie. I loved this soundtrack. He's like, I'm unfortunate how the movie turned out, and they done like bits from the movie, which I thought was pretty cool. So, no, I have a lot of time for it. I think it's very good. But just kind of rounding it off. No, I think it's no as big a year as what last year was, but I think potentially it could be bigger if the big ones hit.
Listen,
like the Doomsday potentially could underperform.
Yeah, it could. But you know what? We've got the saving grace. We've got Scary Movie 6, or just simply called Scary Movie. Oh my God Almighty! That, like, do you know what? I had such high potential for Scream 7. Right, I really did. And again, like I said, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's a 3.5-star film. It's on par with Scream 4, but I preferred Scream 4 a little bit better than Scream 7. Scary Movie 6, or just simply called Scary Movie, as a wee nod to Scream 2022. I've got the highest of high potential for this film, right? And I feel as if I don't want to go in here having such high potential, having such high hopes, but I'm like, it's Marlon Wayans, it's the Wayans brothers all together again, right? Different director, but it's okay. They're producing it, they're writing it, all kind of stuff. The trailer slapped so much. I love the fact that they just did not. I mean, Marlon Wayans did say that though. Sorry, Wayans did say that though, that they're not going to give a shit who they offend. And I love the fact that already the keyboard warriors are online being like, oh, look what they've done in the trailer. Sorry, kids. That's what you call comedy, right? That's the comedy that we grew up with, me, myself, Thomas, because we're both that fucking old. We remember the first film. That's the humour that we grew up with. That is what we need nowadays. See the new Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson. That, again, with the whole Jesse Eisenberg and Nicholas Hoult, the Naked Gun reboot walked so that Scream Movie 6 can then be like, okay, we can do this edgy R-rated humour again. Because the Naked Gun reboot was, the humour in that was, they pushed the fucking boundaries, man. God almighty, there's so much stuff I thought. I'm sitting with my mum, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. They came to the Pamela Anderson, and they're in the silhouette of her cleaning the oven, but it looks like she's doing something else to Liam Neeson. I'm sitting there just like, oh, gee. Mom's like, is he? I'm just like, let's not question it. I'm just watch the scene.
Is that the same day that I think I met you at the cinema? Was that same day?
You went to see one of the Rosies? Or the Rosies, sorry.
The Rosies,
yeah. That was the same day. Yeah, we were sitting there just like, are they doing? They're doing that. No, they're not. Oh, it's okay. They're not doing it. It's okay, Mum. Don't worry. But they're not doing what you think they're doing. But relax. It was properly the hand gestures. I'm just, oh, Jesus Christ. So they've done the humour that I think we need that back. And I think Scary Movie 6 is going to have that times 100, because obviously it's the Wayans brothers and they just don't give a shit. They don't care.
No, I think this year could be good. I think there's potentially some mega hits. I think some of the films have the potential to bomb really badly as well, more so than most years, just because a lot of kind of baggage with them. But
yeah,
no, it's been good, and it's been, you know, so far a decent year, but it's only going to get better. So,
I think what you're just calling back to Doomsday though, I think the only issue for Doomsday is there's like nearly 40 Marvel films and TV shows that you kind of need to know a lot about, and that's been the issue with the Marvel films recently. Is there's a lot of things from the TV shows, obviously, like the recent Captain America. You really had to have watched fucking Falcon and Winter Soldier to get, you know, Isaiah or Ezekiel, the older black actor, the older Captain America from the 60s or something like that. Obviously he's imprisoned by, you know, because he's a black Captain America. So there's a lot of that was played in the Falcon and Winter Soldier that carried on to Captain America 4, that if you hadn't seen that, you would have known what that story was. So I think with Doomsday, as much as it's a big sort of ensemble, like, let's just celebrate, everyone's back, you kind of need to know, yeah, but who's that from the last 10 years or so?
I think there's a job there for somebody to create a Marvel history in 15 minutes. I think you're the man to do that. So
but,
there you go.
Mate, even I'm sometimes thinking, who the fuck's that?
that's your homework.
And I'm the Marvel fan. Even I'm like, who the fuck? Who's that?
But no, man. It's been good catching up, and as definitely. I say, good kind of seeing the background of what you've been doing and what else is happening. So hopefully you get your videos finished and get this effing guy. I done it earlier. It was like That Effing Guy. Sorry, mate. That Effing Guy Eats and That Effing Guy, and just make sure you're posting them, because there is nothing worse than thinking I should have done that and no doing it. So hopefully, as I say, this is maybe let a wee fire under you and just kind of boiling 100%. Over a wee bit. But
I've got so many ideas, but it's just trying. I've got a whole list. I've got a list on my phone that I add to every few months, and it's grown to like 50 ideas from like 5 years ago. They just keep adding to them. Like, I should do those ideas, because even if That Effing Guy Eats, I see people like the £5 challenge or the £5 meal deal challenge, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, because I said to Kirsty actually just yesterday, I was like, I like what I've done so far. That Effing Guy Eats. I'm just sitting eating food and trying this and trying that. Like I've done the big love heart strawberry tart from Morrison's for Valentine's Day. I loved that. I devoured that like a motherfucker. It was so fucking good. But I'm like, I kind of don't want to just sit and eat food. I kind of want to do some little challenges here and there. And kind of, I like doing little challenges.
No, I think like, listen, you'll find your own way, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, like, as I say, you've got plenty on.
You want to do your own thing. You want to try and kind of stand your own ground, do your own thing. But then you feel as if sometimes you end up, like crossing the streams of other creators. You think, but then again, it's good because you can then bounce off of them. You can then see, oh, they're doing that. That looks pretty cool. Because there's a few ideas on my Instagram with like different posts that I'm looking at. Other people have been like, it's like it's called the 5 film challenge. It's like 5 films you've watched recently, 4 you've got on your watch list to watch, 2 that you thought were okay, and blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. So I'm like, I'm taking ideas from that. I'm like, they're quite good though. Like, you're allowed to collab. You're allowed to dip your toe in, and like you said, cross the stream and try and, like, if they're doing it, it must be quite good. So like, you doing it, it's not so much copying. It's just like, what's your interpretation? What's your idea? What's your kind of like, what can you do differently? And I think that's the problem with content creators, is we don't always try something new. We kind of try and stay close to keep our cards close to the chest and do what they're doing. But I think with the food channel, I kind of want to try and do and be more creative, but also do some ideas that other people are doing, because you kind of need to. It's just the rule of thumb. It's the rule of thumb. You make a film, and then 10 years later, it gets remade because it was a good film then. Let's do it now. That's the problem with content creators, is you're taking ideas that people have done already, but sometimes you kind of need to do it to get yourself there, and then you start to do your own things.
Agree, absolutely, no. And I think that's it, mate. But it's just about making sure it's getting done, because like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, mate. So you need to make sure you're doing that. But I know, listen, we've been on for what I think it's like an hour and a half. It's flew by. So
apologies.
I will sign us off there, just because if I don't get to my bed soon, I'm going to be one cranky mofo in the morning. So it's as always, it's been a pleasure. If you want to get in contact,
thank you.
No, it's good, man. If you want to get in contact, it's contact@thewhiskysourour.com. And if you want to give us a wee like, follow, share, subscribe, you can do that on Facebook, you can do that on Instagram, and most importantly, you can do that on YouTube for us. Jordan, you want to plug yourself, my man?
So we've got, obviously, That Effing Guy, my TikTok channel. We've got That Effing Guy Eats, my food channel. We've got That Effing Guy YT, my movie Instagram channel. I'll send you all the links. Basically, I'm a content whore, so I'll just send you the links and you just fucking do it.
Send me the links, and I will do my bit and make sure that they're all linked up for you. And
thank you, mate.
In the notes, so we'll do that, man. But no, listen, it's always been a pleasure, mate.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming on. All right,
it's been great, man. I really appreciate it as well. Obviously, it's a pleasure for me to come on with you, and obviously, you get the word out and all that kind of stuff, and we just shoot the shit. We nothing's ever planned. I think like the first time I came on, you had like a spreadsheet planned of like, we're going to talk about this and that, and it ends up, I think we got through like one category and like the other 20.
I know, and I realised quickly. I was like, that's not how it works here. That's not how it's going to work.
Especially when I'm on, like, I do not follow the rules. I go off on a tangent. Because there we go. We spoke about fucking the Terminator film for 20 minutes there. The X-Men films.
But that's it. That's what it's about. But
I'm supposed to be promoting my That Effing Guy Eats, and I spoke about it for 2 minutes.
No, we did speak about it for a decent amount of time, but no, listen, we'll get on it. We'll go to that linked up, man. And as I say, just thanks again for coming on.
No worries, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
On that note, I've been Thomas Waddle. That was That Effing Guy.
McCabe. This effing guy, that effing guy, the effing guy. Anyway.
That's it. We're just getting the name out there. But no, that was That Effing Guy, Jordan McCabe. And you've been listening to the Whisky Sour Hour. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.